Welcome to this episode of Science Unlocked, where we explore the wonders of biology and how they relate to our everyday lives. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into the topic of cell division. Joining me is our biology expert, Dr. Jane Thompson. Welcome, Jane.
Thank you. I'm excited to talk about cell division today. It's such a fundamental process in biology.
Absolutely. So let's start with the basics. Cell division is the process by which a single cell divides into two or more daughter cells. But there are two main types of cell division, right?
Yes, that's correct. The two types are mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis is the type of cell division that results in two identical daughter cells, while meiosis leads to four daughter cells that are not identical to each other or the parent cell.
That sounds interesting. Can you explain what makes mitosis and meiosis different?
Sure, mitosis occurs in the nucleus of a cell, and it's responsible for growth and repair in multicellular organisms. It produces cells that are genetically identical, meaning they have the same number of chromosomes as the original cell. In humans, for example, that's 46 chromosomes arranged in 23 pairs.
And meiosis, how does that work?
Meiosis also occurs in the nucleus, but it's specifically involved in creating gametes, which are sex cells like sperm and eggs. During meiosis, the chromosome number is halved, resulting in cells that have only 23 chromosomes, which is 1/2 of the diploid number for humans.
That's amazing. So, can you explain the terms haploid and diploid that you just mentioned?
Of course, diploid refers to cells that have two sets of chromosomes, which is the case for most body cells, also known as somatic cells. In contrast, haploid cells contain just one set of chromosomes, like the gametes produced via meiosis.
Now that we've set the foundation, let's talk about unicellular versus multicellular organisms. How does cell division differ between them?
Great question. Unicellular organisms like bacteria mainly reproduce through a type of asexual reproduction called binary fission, which is a simpler way of cell division that's similar to mitosis. For multicellular organisms, mitosis supports growth and repair mechanisms and is vital for maintaining tissue health.
And what about variations? You mentioned earlier that meiosis introduces genetic diversity. Can you explain how that works?
Absolutely. During meiosis, genetic recombination occurs. This means that during the process, chromosomes can exchange segments of DNA, leading to genetic variation. When gametes combine during fertilization, it increases the genetic diversity of the resulting offspring, which is essential for the evolution of species.
Fascinating. Now let's touch on a critical health topic. You mentioned earlier that uncontrolled mitosis can lead to cancer. Can you expand on that?
Yes, when a cell loses the normal regulation of mitosis, it can start to divide uncontrollably, leading to tumors and cancer. Factors like smoking, UV exposure, and certain chemical toxins can increase cancer risk by mutating DNA and disrupting the typical cell cycle. This underscores the importance of regulation in these processes.
What are some common signs or symptoms of cancer that listeners might need to be aware of?
Symptoms can vary widely depending on the type of cancer, but may include unexplained weight loss, persistent fatigue, unusual bleeding, or changes in bowel habits. If anyone experiences these symptoms, it's crucial to consult a healthcare professional.
Great advice, Jane. It's so important to stay informed. Now let's talk about the stages of mitosis. Could you walk us through those?
Of course, mitosis is typically divided into 4 key stages: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. It all begins with interphase, where the cell prepares for division by replicating its DNA. Although interphase isn't a part of mitosis, it's crucial because the cell spends about 90% of its life in this phase.
Then what happens during prophase?
In prophase, the chromatin condenses into tightly packed chromosomes. Each chromosome has 2 identical sister chromatids, which are connected at a region called the centromere. The nuclear membrane also starts to dissolve during this stage.
So the chromosomes are becoming visible. What happens next in metaphase?
During metaphase, the chromosomes align at the cell's equator, also known as the metaphase plate. This is crucial to ensure that each daughter cell will receive an identical set of chromosomes during division.
And how about anaphase? What should we look for there?
In anaphase, the spindle fibers, the structures that help separate the chromosomes, contract and pull the sister chromatids apart towards opposite poles of the cell. This ensures that each new daughter cell will have the correct number of chromosomes.
Finally, we have telophase. What happens during this stage?
During telophase, new nuclear membranes form around each set of separated chromosomes, which begin to decondense back into chromatin. Then, the cell begins the process of cytoplasmic division or cytokinesis, where the cell membrane pinches in and separates the two daughter cells. In plant cells, this forming junction is called a cell plate, while in animal cells it is known as a cleavage furrow.
Thank you for breaking that down so clearly. Where can someone go for additional questions or resources on this topic?
I recommend looking at reputable educational websites or even checking out local science museums that often have resources on biology. Textbooks are also a great way to get detailed information.
As we wrap up, what are the key takeaways about cell division our listeners should remember?
The main takeaway is to understand how crucial both mitosis and meiosis are for life. Mitosis is essential for growth and repair across all multicellular organisms, while meiosis ensures genetic diversity for reproduction. And remember, when cell division goes unchecked, it can lead to conditions like cancer, which reinforces the importance of understanding these processes.
That's a perfect summary. Thanks, Jane, for sharing your expertise today. And thank you to our listeners for joining us on Science Unlocked. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning.